All right, there it is. This is episode 119 of the Battle of Ohio podcast. The Bengals did their damn jobs this week with a total beatdown of the Atlanta Falcons. The Browns? Nope. Yikes, man.
It's over, y'all.
What happened, Thomas? Actually, don't answer that. Don't answer that just yet. We're going to break it down. But before we get to that, though, I got to say one thing. The Steelers made I made the Steelers the number 32 team in my power rankings this week. Because why, Thomas?
It's really hard to say it when your team is also sucking. But you know what, though? Anytime I get the opportunity to say it, I'm going to say it. You suck, Pittsburgh! Ah.
Welcome to the Battle of Ohio podcast, where we follow the revival of the historic rivalry between the Cincinnati Bengals and the Cleveland Browns.
I'm not going to lie, Thomas. There are so many times that the Bengals have been bad, and it would have made it a little bit better for me. It would have soothed the pain a little bit just to be able to say that the Steelers suck. Now they do, but the Bengals are good, so I don't need it.
I mean, it's fine. The Browns will be great next year.
We have a whole offseason to talk about that. So do you want to get it out of the way? Should we go ahead and rip the Band-Aid off?
The season's over, dude. I said that last week. The season's over.
You also said 5 minutes ago that it might not be over, so I'm not entirely sure where you're
at. No. I said realistically, which is actually insane because theoretically it's over. Realistically, it's not. But realistically, theoretically, it's not. Wait, hold on. Actually, I'm going to mix things up. Theoretically, it's not over. Realistically, it's over.
That's fair.
If I'm being a realist, I want to say the season's over. Theoretically, no. Well, I mean, yeah, but then you look at the schedule, you're just like, there's a lot of W's here. But then you look at the games that we lost 4 games by 3 points or less. And here's the thing. Here's my argument to everybody. And here's why I always say this would be a lot different if Deshaun Watson was playing. You telling me that Deshaun Watson ain't 3 points better than Jacoby Brissett? I do. I mean, I do think that the defense would blow one of those games. Like, I don't know, maybe. I just think that, like yesterday, right, or Sunday, I just think that Jacoby looks good, but there's moments where Jacoby just cannot push the ball down the field. And just because you don't get an interception doesn't mean it's not a failed drive, because you only get 1 first down or 2 first downs. That's not a good drive. It's not a good drive, man. It's just not. It's not. You get a field goal out of it. You get any points out of it. You're punting the ball away. So many punted possessions. And there's so many times where I'm like, we could have scored this play, we could have scored in that play, especially against the Patriots. We got way more than 7 points in the first half against the Patriots if Deshaun Watson was playing. I thoroughly believe that. You know, I'm thinking that.
For the first time this season, Thomas, I think I'm going to actually agree with you.
For real? You haven't agreed with me at all this season? You haven't agreed with me?
No. On this topic, for the first time, okay. I'm going to agree with you. I'll get to why in a second, but first I gotta poke the bear a little bit. What the hell is up with the Browns specifically losing to the Ravens in the stupidest ways possible? Like, this isn't the first time that something like this has happened.
No, I hate it.
Like. Okay, so I've got some. I'm about to go on a rant that is only really, for me, I only really ever use on the Bengals. But I have, like, the Browns, man. Like, first of all, like, part of it is because I was counting on you guys this week, and that didn't work out. So that's
your first mistake.
Well, that's true. That's true.
Like usually I'm not dude. Like usually I try to rip him bad. What the fuck, y'all? What the fuck? What the fuck, man? I can say this. I'm not binding any contracts or anything. What the fuck, Browns? Go ahead, Cal.
All that work on the second to last drive, only for a makeable 55-yard field goal to turn into a 60-yarder because of a false start on what should have been an easy routine field goal formation. And then the Ravens blocked it anyway. Like, this is getting old.
But here's my thing though. That wasn't even like how did that false start on us? I don't get that.
I did not break down the false startiness of that play. I just remember that happened. I did, however, break down a different penalty that happened on you guys, and that was
did you not see the play? They jumped on us. They literally jumped on us.
Well, a lot of times it looks like that, but if you really pay attention, the offensive player does kind of twitch a little bit. They'll always call that on the offense.
I mean, okay, I don't know. I watched a lot of replays of that play. It literally looked like they jumped first.
The one play that I did go back and the one penalty that I did go back and break down and kind of analyze to see what was going on there was the offensive pass interference on Amari Cooper that nullified a touchdown. Mm-hmm. Touchdown that would have given you guys the game, by the way.
So y'all would have won
if he had gotten that touchdown. However, that play was I looked at this play like 15 times, Thomas. I was trying to find an angle to argue for you, and there is none.
No,
that was the definition of offensive pass interference by Amari.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, you can't do that.
I agree with that. I agree with that completely. I agree with that play completely. Like, he pushed off, and he shouldn't have pushed off.
Not only should he not have pushed off, but he didn't need to push off. He would have gotten that touchdown. The only thing is, Marcus Peters was maybe in a good position to make a play on that ball. So, I mean, he probably could have broken it up if Amari Cooper hadn't pushed off. But I feel like Amari Cooper makes that catch over Marcus Peters, and he probably gets a touchdown. And the only thing is maybe Marcus Peters is close enough to tackle him, so that's part of why he got the touchdown. I don't know. But it's just you cannot. It's like with the false start. You cannot do that in that situation. This is why y'all are losing these close games. It's why the Bengals lost all these close games earlier this year.
I don't think that was a false start. I'll give you the pass interference. I was going to say, there's a reason why I didn't say anything about pass, because I do agree with you. That was clear. He clearly pushed him off. He was just like, ooh. It's like that was blatantly obvious. Blatantly obvious. The false start, though, dude, I don't know, man. I think that was like, we hate y'all because what y'all did this offseason. The rest hates us. But the rest do hate us, man. It's phenomenal how bad the rest hate us. It's literally a phenomenon how bad the rest hate us.
Yeah. Every team that loses says that.
No. Dude. The refs literally hate Cleveland. Dude, I'm telling you, man, it's not in, I would never make this argument for the Cavs, because the Cavs always get calls they shouldn't get. I thoroughly believe that. I think the Cavs are the NBA darlings. People love the Cavs for some reason. Don't understand why. I think it's LeBron is the thing. The whole LeBron story, one of the greatest stories of sports. People love the Cavs. The Guardians, I think baseball is called evenly. I don't think they really care. So I would never say that about the Guardians. The Guardians miss some calls. I do think the Yankees did some shady stuff, but I don't think that the refs are trying to actively screw the Guardians. But the Browns, though, dude, I would take this to my grave. The refs literally hate the Browns. It is so blatantly obvious. Just damn, they really do just hate us. These people really do hate us. Come on, man. Come on. I don't have to go that far in history, man. Shit. Look at the Saints game. Or not the Saints game, the Chiefs game a couple years ago, where our player literally got helmet to helmet, knocked in the helmet all the time. I go to the game to the Patriots. I don't know how many times I Jacoby Brissett, they literally grabbed the face mask of Jacoby Brissett and tried to yank it and rip his neck off. And the ref go like, nothing to see here. Nothing to see here at all. But, you just sniff Tyler Zappe, a rookie quarterback for the Patriots, not Tom Brady. You just sniff Tyler Zappe, whoever the fuck his name is. You just sniff that guy. 15-yard penalty against the Browns, roughing the passer. What the fuck? And 15-yard penalty, hostile fans. Like, that's how they screw us, dude. I swear, this is the thing. Like, just watch the Browns game for like just 30 minutes. You were like, all right, yeah, I see what Thomas is getting there. No, the rest hate us. The rest literally hates us, Kyle. This is a real thing. I watch enough Browns games. I did a lot of stuff. I did a lot of stuff that's not subjective. The refs hate Cleveland, man. The refs hate the Browns. The refs, I wouldn't make this argument for any other team in Cleveland but the Browns.
I'm going to look into that.
Like, yeah, look into that. Look into that. Please, look into that. I actually think I have to
maybe I find out that you're right. And
but that wasn't a push off, though. That wasn't a push. But, I mean, a lot of it is, I was thinking about this earlier, though. I mean, let me counter argument my own point. One thing about the Browns, you made a good point, Kyle, is that these are critical mistakes and critical timing here. Critical timing. Browns are making these errors. Excuse me. Browns are a high penalty team in the first place. So the whole point is that if you're getting penalties, it's like a kid that gets in trouble in school. The more you get in trouble, the more likely you are to continue in trouble. You expect bad things from you. So if this defense and the offense doing stupid stuff to give them penalties, they're going to be looking to penalize the defense because the defense is they don't understand the game. So it might be something counteractive that, hey, they're known for this. They keep on doing these stupid things. So we're going to ref them a little more tightly. That's a theory. So, I mean, because there are many times where I'm like, you can't do that. You just can't do that shit. Like you said, Amari Cooper, you can't be pushing off on a receiver. You had the touchdown. I'll agree with you. I'm like, when people was like, oh, that wasn't a touchdown. And I was kind of like, oh, yeah, that was a touchdown, man. Then I kind of looked at it. I was like, nah, yeah, he pushed off. It's pretty obvious. Like, and I'm not gonna debate that. In fact, the whole point is the 55-yard field goal isn't like guaranteed anyway. Then we had to go to overtime to play Lamar Jackson. So who knows if he was going to win the game? The game was decided when Amari Cooper pushed off of his defender. That was when the game was decided. That is the cold, hard truth. And the fact of the matter is, if he just ran through the ball and caught it, it was a perfectly placed ball, we wouldn't won that game. He didn't do that. And that is a discipline error. And that's partially why a lot of fans are sitting here yelling for Kevin Steele's job. Not me personally, but that's why he's on the hot seat right now. Because shit like that.
Your internet connection is terrible.
You know what? Let me just turn off my TV or something. Or my internet, my computer. Okay. It's either my TV or my computer, but I got both of them on at the same time. So I'm going to cut off one and it should probably help.
That's so weird. I don't have that problem. But I also pay for gigabyte internet. But
yeah, come on, Spectrum.
I have one last thing to say about this game, and then we need to go ahead and move on to the Bengals game. But I posited this this earlier, and I'm going to answer the thing that I said now. So the reason I agree that Deshaun Watson wins this game for the Browns is because, Thomas, what are you doing, Jacoby Brissett? Why you were like, he's not pushing the ball down the field. And I agree with that. I'm like, you really need to be pushing the ball down the field. But why are you throwing to the middle of the field with 16 seconds left? Like what on earth do you think is gonna it seems like his thought process is like, well, the game's pretty much over. I might as well see if we can get lucky and somebody can break a few tackles and run and go get a touchdown. But you have the opportunity to kick a field goal and tie it. All you got to do is get maybe 30, 40 yards by throwing out of bounds and stuff, like throwing two guys and 10, 15 yards here and there and get out of bounds real quick. And you probably got enough time for at least 3 passes, maybe even 4. if you're only going like 10, 15 yards down the field at a time. And so I
Yep.
don't understand why he's throwing to the middle of the field and wasting all that time.
I don't know.
That can't be the game plan.
I don't know. I can't answer that.
You were starting from your own 20. What are you doing? Like, do you not have any concept in your head that when the 16 seconds is up, the game is over and you lose, but you could potentially give yourself another chance if you get in field goal range?
Can't
And
answer
I
these
don't think the
questions,
Ravens
man.
block a second field goal.
I can't answer these questions, man. I just can't answer these questions, man. Go Cavs, man. Go Cavs. Go Cavs. I think I might buy. They're selling Cavs tickets for $14 tonight. I might, as soon as the podcast over, I'm going to the Cavs game. Go Cavs. So they get like how that's the only reason why I'm like keeping my sanity, because my baseball team was good enough to play all the way up until the Cavs play the very next day. That's all I need in life. That's all I need in life. So I could just ignore these crappy ass Browns. So pissed off. Thank God for the Cavs.
So in more pleasant news, and I don't think there's going to be any rants this time around, but in more pleasant news, the Bengals actually did their job this week by putting an absolute smackdown on the Atlanta Falcons. And do you remember last week, Thomas? I came on and I said that this game is ripe for an absolute domination for the Bengals. This is the type of game.
That, yes.
It reminds me exactly of last year when, week 6 last year, the Bengals, came on against the the Lions, and they showed, hey, look, we can do something good. And then the week after, they just went ham against the Ravens. It happened again this year. Week 6, they finally figured out their offense against the Saints, and then week 7, another bird team just put the smackdown on him. Joe Burrow is actually now the first player in NFL history. In NFL, nobody else in the NFL has ever done this, to throw for at least 500. To put up 500 total yards of either running or passing, and 4 touchdowns in 2 different games in his career. Like, nobody else has done that in all of NFL history. Joe Burrow has now done it in back-to-back seasons.
Because he's the real JBZ. The real JBZ is Joe Burrow, not Jacoby Brissett. That's JBZ and JBZ. JBZ better than JBZ. Shout out to JBZ, y'all.
Had 2 or 3 things gone differently in this game, like for example, the Falcons, the Bengals don't just completely collapse at the end of the second quarter and let the Falcons kind of pretend like they're in the game for a minute, or the Bengals don't actually get a touchdown at the end instead of kneeling on it, because then that just that ends the game. They were on the 2-yard line and they knelt on it, which is classy, and I guess what you're gonna do and stuff like that. It's just from my selfish perspective as a Bengals fan, I was like, can we just get the extra touchdown, please?
Yeah, why not?
That
Bengals slap them around a little bit.
That non-touchdown plus the field goal that the Bengals didn't take because they wanted to try to go for it on 4th down, which, by the way, I'm getting sick of seeing the Bengals go for it on 4th down. They have a 25% conversion rate on 4th down. That's the worst in the NFL. I don't understand why they keep trying. But anyway, the point is they basically left 10 points on the field, and they probably could have gotten more than that if they had done a few things differently, but they definitely left 10 points on the field. And if it weren't for the weird 10-point burst by the Falcons at the end of the second quarter, this was really this game ended 35-17, but that honestly makes it seem way more competitive than it really was. This really should have been a 45-7 type of scoreline.
It really doesn't matter, because you guys won and y'all about to be in first place of the division, and then Browns is going to be in last place forever. Because I think the Ravens aren't good, man. You guys are just going to be just walking away with this thing.
Well, we would be in first place, Thomas, if somebody had done their damn job.
Dude, come on, man. You can't count on the Browns. You can't count on the Browns, dude.
I know. The Bengals playoff odds now sit at 61%. Now that they're back over 500. Although, ironically enough, if the playoffs started tomorrow, the Bengals would actually be the first team out of the playoffs in the AFC. They'd be behind. They'd be losing tiebreakers somehow, even though we beat them, to the 4-3 Miami Dolphins and also to the 4-3 Los Angeles Chargers. And to the 4-3 Baltimore Ravens because somebody didn't do their damn job.
Can I say something about two people real quick before we move on for the Bengals? First of all, Jamar Chase knew he had a big game. Knew he had a big game this week. 132 yards, 18.9 yards per reception. Mm-hmm. Good shit. 2 touchdowns, 7 receptions. Good shit for you. And a shout out to JBZ, Joe Burrow. Like you said, 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a rushing touchdowns, have 4 touchdowns on the day. He is a top 5 quarterback. He is going to win a Super Bowl for Cincinnati one day. Congratulations on your possibly. Very possible. I don't think the Bills are winning this year.
I have this theory that Jamar Chase is only good when people doubt him. Because like he started out last year and he had all those drops in the preseason. Everybody's like, oh, he's going to be terrible because he wasn't good in preseason because that's how football works, right? And then he shows up. He has the best rookie season literally of all time. And this year he starts out slow. Everybody's starting to say like, oh, well, was last year a fluke? Jamar Chase, he might not be as good as we thought he was, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. He's just not putting up the kind of numbers that like he was supposed to, And then as soon as people start saying that, there's 2 back-to-back games where Jamar Chase has gone absolutely off. So I just think we need to get back to like the point like we just need to convince the whole country that Jamar Chase is terrible. That way he goes off and has amazing games every single week.
Yeah, you suck, Jamar Chase. I'll go catch between the. Actually, you're a really good player to Jamar Chase. You're playing against us next week.
So,
I'm more worried. I'm honestly more worried about Joe.
Don't do that, you cheater.
No, because I'm more worried about Joe Mixon next week than Jamar Chase, to be honest with you.
Really?
Even though because
he's been doing a lot better, to be fair.
Well, the Browns can't stop the run, man. My grandma could run 100 yards on the Browns right now.
Could your grandma beat Joe Mixon in a 40 though?
No, so that's what I'm saying. My grandma could run 100 yards on the Browns. So can Joe Mixon.
All right, so let's move on then to the underrated players of the week.
Okay, I got mine for the Bengals. So who wanted the Bengals or the Browns first?
On my notes I have the Browns first, but we can do the Bengals first if you want. If you have somebody ready to go ahead.
Well, I'm thinking BJ Hill, but I'm not sure how, because I was always not sure how underrated like they are compared to like Cincinnati, especially defense players. So I don't know, like Arizona State defense player like Thomas, he's not really that underrated.
Yeah, but I would say BJ Hill is like nationally underrated, right? Like,
okay,
not a lot of people know BJ Hill.
I really like what BJ Hill did. I think BJ Hill is a nice little combination with Hickerson. I like BJ Hill. I like him. So I just want to give him a shout out. He had half a sack last week and 3 tackles, if I'm reading that right. Did he have 3 tackles last week? Yeah, 3 tackles and a half a sack. Yeah, shout out to BJ Hill. Shout out to BJ Hill. Forcing the defense. Consistent.
Yeah. BJ Hill's a really solid player. A lot of people who watch this probably already know this, Thomas, but I don't know if you remember this. But the Bengals actually got BJ Hill because the Giants gave up on him, right? So in that way, he's kind of underrated because the Giants gave up on developing him. Part of it was they just kind of had a logjam. They had so many good players at defensive tackle, like on the defensive line. They had so many good players that they just didn't have time to develop BJ Hill. So they traded him to the Bengals for, I believe there was like a 7th round pick involved on one of the sides, but pretty much it was a straight up trade, BJ Hill for Billy Price. And I don't know if you remember, but Billy Price was that dude that we drafted in 2018 to be like our center of the future, and he ended up being awful and hardly ever played. So I would say the Bengals may have potentially won that trade because Billy Price is currently playing for the Arizona Cardinals. Although I will say that the Giants probably aren't too upset because like their defense is playing amazing this year. So they probably, as much as BJ Hill would probably help them right now, I don't think they're missing him too badly at the moment.
well.
So
shout out to BJ Hill, y'all.
All right. So oddly enough, I also picked a defensive tackle for the Bengals underrated player of the week.
Okay.
However, I picked the Bengals, the guy who had, I believe, the next most snaps at defensive tackle behind, let's see, BJ Hill had 36 snaps at defensive tackle. And wait, this can't possibly. Huh. Apparently Zach Carter, who is primarily an edge rusher for the Bengals. Apparently Zach Carter had the second most snaps at defensive tackle. But J2 Fele is the bona fide backup. And he's playing because DJ Reader's hurt. And I'm going to give the award to J2 Fele this week because, first of all, I just want to point out J2 Fele. He was a guy I was kind of hoping the Bengals would pick up in the 2021 draft last year, and he ended up going to the Jaguars. He was like one of the guys I had listed. Like, I know they need to go get some defensive tackle because they need to replace Larry Ogunjobi, and that would have been this year. Last year, I was thinking they need to go pick up somebody because I didn't know Larry Ogunjobi was going to be good. And this year, well, yeah, I knew he was going to be good. I forget exactly when the Bengals got Larry Ogunjobi, but there was some reason why I wasn't thinking that Larry Ogunjobi was going to be like the answer at the position. Now, he might not have been on the team yet. I'm not sure. But I definitely, if anything, it might have just been for like the future of the position. I was like, oh, let's go get somebody. And J2 Fele was a guy who I was thinking that'd be really good. The Bengals did not pick him. He ended up going to the Jaguars, but then he got hurt last year, was on IR all year, and didn't make the team this year. So the Bengals picked him up on waivers, and he ended up on the Bengals anyway, which is awesome. And it's huge for the Bengals to have a capable backup in that position and take some meaningful reps, especially after we lost Larry Ogunjobi to Pittsburgh. And this week, he was an absolute force, stopping the Falcons' run game, which was top 5 in basically every metric coming into this game. And that's exactly what we were worried about missing with DJ Reader being out for a while. So it's good to see Tufele filling that gap nicely. And I will point out, we got the Browns this week. And one thing I was really worried kind of leading up to this game because I was like, oh my God, we don't have DJ Reader. We might not have Logan Wilson. Like, I just don't know how this run defense is going to stack up against Nick fucking Chubb. But the fact of the matter is they did pretty well against the Falcons rushing attack. So I'm feeling maybe a little bit optimistic now.
We saw shirts that says Nick fucking Chubb. By the way, another player that we got to mention though, Tyler Boyd wore 155 yards, bruh. He is playing so well this year.
Yeah, he's it's good. It's nice because all 3 of those receivers are finally getting utilized to like the vision that you kind of had, because it's like last year you had like Jamar Chase was going insane, and then you kind of had like T Higgins was pretty good, and then Tyler Boyd just kind of like didn't really he had a good season. I think he nearly went over 1,000 yards, but it's just like he kind of got forgotten. So it's nice to see him really kind of like, having these big games and showing everybody like, hey, I can be like, an awesome weapon too. And then by the way, I know we're already past it, but I real quick just want to shout out Hayden Hurst for, he didn't have the biggest game of all time, but he did have a really key role. Picking up like first downs and stuff against the Falcons. And that was the team that just recently gave up on him. So that was kind of cool. I was hoping he would have a revenge game against the Ravens, but he had a bit of a revenge game against the Falcons. So yeah, that works out.
Yeah, he's nice.
Yeah, Hayden Hurst, I like him. But we've been looking for a successor to Tyler Eifert for years. And I think Hayden Hurst could possibly be it. But But that's like I said, we're already pretty much past the Bengals portion. So let's move on to the Browns underrated player of the week. Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
You go first, because I'm still trying to figure out which bum I'm less mad at the least.
Okay, so I'm going to bring up a third defensive tackle because we're just throwing all the love to the defensive tackles today. But Taven Bryan.
Okay, that's a good one.
I'm gonna give a shout out to him because first of all, I have no idea who this guy is. Literally, I mean, I know who a lot of NFL players are. I have no idea who this guy. I've never heard of him. I don't know if I've ever seen his name on the roster before. I'm like, what's a Taven Bryan? So at least to me, he's definitely underrated. But this week he came in and I mean, he didn't have like a ton of snaps, but he picked up a big sack on Lamar Jackson on the first drive of the third quarter. And I think that kind of set the tone for what was almost a big comeback for the Browns in this game.
You know what? You're right. I should go defense.
I know. By the way, I'm kind of reaching on this one because like they lost. So
I'm also gonna go defense. By the way, shout out to Jacob Phillips, man. He had such a good game just for him to just be injured for the rest of the season.
Oh, is he hurt for the rest of the season?
Yeah, he's out. He got torn bicep. He got torn bicep.
Oh no.
I know. It's over, man. I'm really liking what I'm seeing from Martin Emerson. I know that was like our first draft pick of the year. He should be playing well, but he was a second round pick. So I guess if I were to pick anybody, I guess I have to go with Martin Emerson. Because like when you think of Browns defense, you think of like Myles Garrett. You think of, Deion Jones looked really good from the comeback and everything. The defense did their thing. I can't be mad at defense versus an offense, but I think I'm going to go with Martin Emerson because he is a rookie. He may not be underrated because of he was drafted in the second round, but he's not a high profile rookie. And he
was drafted in the third round. Didn't you guys get Owusu Cormo in the second round?
No, we got him last year.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
When did we draft Martin Emerson? That's a good question. Third, yeah. So anyway, it's third round draft pick. He been playing. Yeah, he is. He's been playing really well. I've been liking what I've been seeing from him. He's been stepping up. He stepped up big in the absence of Denzel Ward. He got his first sack this week. That was a big sack. Talk about big sacks. He had a big sack. So I'll give it to him, man. I'm liking what I'm seeing from the rookie.
Well, glad you're enjoying seeing those big sacks.
Yeah, I'm not. I wish I could see some big wins.
I could be looking at this wrong, but it appears to me that you guys did not have a second round pick this year.
It's very possible we did. I think we might trade it down if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah, the Ravens traded with you guys, and they got David Ajabo.
By the way,
so that's what it is. The Martin Emerson was the second pick for you guys in the draft. It just happened in the third round.
You know what it is though, is that like the reason why I'm struggling with picking an underrated player is that I was at the game last week, and like I just remember against the they usually show on the scoreboard the best play that was played in the first three quarters right before the fourth quarter. Man, the best play for the Browns was a first down. It wasn't a touchdown. It was a first down. And the Browns got a first down. Oh, my God. That was literally the best play that they did against Patriots before the fourth quarter. It was so freaking sad, man. God, this is a disappointing season. Shoot me. Oh, wait, the Cavs play in 5 minutes. Thank God. Okay. Cavs.
So let's go ahead and recap our predictions for the week.
Okay, let's do that. That might cheer me up.
Well, you didn't do so well, so maybe not.
Cavs.
So I went 12-4 this week. You went 7-9.
Come on.
So the key for this, I think that the big key here is because if you take this out, they're a little closer. But the big key is that I nailed my big upset of the week, and you did not.
See.
And also the other game that you're like, I had a buddy who told me to make this my big upset of the week. That would have also been wrong. So it's good that you didn't listen to him.
That's
There was
good.
the Lions over the Cowboys, and that did not happen.
Okay, cool.
But so you predicted that the Jaguars would beat the Giants as your big upset of the week, and nope.
Damn, come on, Jaguars. See, you know what it is? I'm going down my Jaguars shit. I said the Jaguars will win their division, and I'm going down with that shit. I have to.
I mean, I'm still like kind of half convinced that they're gonna come back and win the division, just because like the AFC South is so bad.
Is it that bad?
But
Is it really that bad?
It's like the Titans are all right, but they're not really anything exciting. So if the Jaguars can get themselves turned around, I have no doubt that they can come back and win the whole thing. They got to start doing it soon, because they've been like, competitive, but just not getting it done.
What about the Titans that don't excite you? You're not excited about 400 runs a game to Derrick Henry and a quarterback that can't throw the ball more than 2 yards?
Look! The Titans' entire offense, like you just said, is Derrick Henry. So like, it's pretty obvious how to stop them. Just have a good run defense. That's what the Bengals did. They stopped Derrick Henry. The Bengals have really, like, I don't know why, but like every time the Bengals play the Titans, Derrick Henry has never given the Bengals a problem.
He never gave the Browns a problem either, actually. You think about it.
He gives the Bengals a problem, but like not really enough of one for it to make that much of a difference. I think Derrick Henry is like the best running back in the NFL, but I probably shouldn't think that, because every time I see him, he's bad. Or not bad, but he's just not like, getting enough done to win the game. But so the other big upset of the week, the one that I nailed, and I'm still kind of like, kind of like this with myself, because that's 2 weeks in a row that like I've been kind of iffy on my big upset of the week, and like they're big like shots, and then I just got like last week I was like, I think that the Jets are going to beat the Packers, and boom. And then this week I said that the Panthers are going to beat the Buccaneers, and I didn't really believe it, but damn it, dude. It's like I had a hunch, because like I really did this week, Thomas. I really did this week put the Steelers genuinely, I'm not just being a hater here. Like, I did genuinely put the Steelers at number 32 in my power rankings this week. They're that bad. And they just beat the Buccaneers last week. So what does that say about the Buccaneers if they're losing to the Steelers? I think it says that there's something going on. I don't know if it's like Tom Brady's marriage problem spilling over onto the field, but something's going on in Tampa Bay that's throwing them off. And I just kind of had this feeling like, with all of the change and everything going on in Carolina, they're going to be fired up, especially for a division game. And I think they have a chance to come in and upset a Buccaneers team that is really not feeling itself right now.
Do you think that Tom Brady will be getting old?
That's also might be part of it. I don't know why. He probably should have retired, because he's now at this point, like, unless he just has this massive turnaround, which he could have. It's Tom Brady. Like, he's done it so many times. But unless he has this massive turnaround, like, he's going to be remembered, because he's probably going to retire at the end of this season now. And he's always going to be remembered as just like, the GOAT, the greatest quarterback of all time. But he's also going to be remembered he's going to be another one of those guys who fell victim to the whole great quarterback who retires a year too late kind of thing, right? Like, he's going to be like, Dan Marino did it. Freaking Peyton Manning did it.
But that's not really a tarnishing legacy for real, honestly. Nobody looks at Michael Jordan differently for playing for the Wizards.
Like, that's what I'm saying. Everybody's still going to remember Tom Brady as the greatest player of all time. I'm just saying, when people bring up the discussion of quarterbacks who retire too late, Tom Brady's always going to be mentioned among those quarterbacks as well. Brett Favre.
But at least Tom Brady made it to 40, though. At least Tom Brady made it to the late 40s. But 200.
That's cool, but
he's 45.
Yeah,
he won a Super Bowl.
I was kind of rooting for him to make it to 50, but like the way he's playing right now, I don't know if the Buccaneers will let him stay till 50. Like, I think if Tom Brady really wanted to come back next year, the Buccaneers would probably let him. They'd probably be like, you know what? All right, you're Tom Brady. We don't really have any other options at quarterback. You might as well just like come back, whatever. We'll see if it works or not. But I don't know if they're going to let him stay another 5 years.
I mean, he's not playing horrible.
No, but he's not doing enough to win, and he's getting. Like,
he's not Tom Brady. Right, he's not Tom Brady. Right. He's not. He's a middle of the road quarterback. He's a solid, but you can see the decline happen. You can literally see you can watch him play like that. That's not Tom Brady, man. You ain't Charles Barkley. He just a wannabe. That's a Space Jam quote for y'all.
So those were our big upset of the week picks. We got in addition to that, we got the other games that we got to talk about that we got wrong. So we both thought that that Andy Dalton was going to beat the Arizona Cardinals on Thursday Night Football, and I just got to say, I should have known better because I have seen Andy Dalton play like this in primetime way too many times. That I should have known. I shouldn't have been like, oh yeah, Andy Dalton's gonna go win this game. Like, no, bro, this is a primetime television game, and it's Andy Dalton. Don't do that. I have a whole reaction video on my channel right now of me reacting to all of Andy Dalton's like faults in that game. And it got a lot of views because I was like not having a good time. I was just like, no, why are you like this, Andy? I don't understand. Like,
yeah, why are you like this, Andy Dalton?
It was hard for me to. It was. I was getting PTSD from watching that because I was just like, I was like seeing the old Andy Dalton highlights or like lowlights in my head in like the playoffs, and I'm like, oh God, no, JJ Watt, not the Red Ryder BB gun.
I'm sorry. Your love for Andy Dalton, man. It is so great. It is so great. I love it. Oh, that's hilarious.
When Tom Grossi, I don't know if I don't think I told you this, but when Tom Grossi rated my stream, the first video he got, like the first image he like when I first popped up on his stream as on his screen as like, this is the guy that my channel's gonna go raid. The first thing he said was, that might be Andy Dalton's son. That was his very first impression of me was that might be Andy Dalton's son.
You got to send me that video, man. I got to watch that. That sounds hilarious, honestly.
I'll send it to you when we're done with that, and anybody who's watching right now should go watch that because it's funny. I was having a good time, but it was still funny. But anyway, other games that we both got wrong. There's only one other one, but we both thought that the Indianapolis Colts were going to turn their woes around and defeat the Chicago Bears, and that did not happen. What did end up happening is apparently Matt Ryan lost his job. That's how bad that game was. Sam Ehlinger, the 6th round quarterback out of Texas, Sam Ehlinger is now the Colts starter.
Yeah, Matt Ryan's not that good, man. Like I thought that Matt Ryan's career was over after he left Atlanta. I thought that I just kind of had that.
He was leading the NFL in passing yards.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of. I heard somebody say, yeah, who was it? Passing yard. I heard. Somebody. I don't know who it is, but it was somebody talking about analytics. There was like, passing yards are impressive, yeah, but they could be empty stats. Touchdowns with a lot of passing yards, you have no touchdowns.
Yeah,
if your touchdown totals are low, I mean. So what matters more isn't passing yards; it's the touchdown to interception ratio is more impressive than passing yards.
That's fair.
I don't know. I just think he was that good in Atlanta the last couple of years. I just kind of wasn't convinced when we went to Indianapolis. But again, I was wrong.
I declined for a little bit.
Again, I was wrong. I was also wrong about about Russ. Though I was horribly wrong about Russ. I was terribly wrong about Russ. God, was I wrong about Russ? Well, at least I wasn't the only one wrong about Russ.
You weren't wrong this week because we both got that game right. That's another game you were. I have a proposal, by the way. I'm thinking maybe we rebrand the big upset of the week, right? Because I think because we keep having this problem of like not really having an upset to pick, or just not really being confident in any upsets. So instead of like trying to force ourselves to come up with an upset, how about we do like a triple down? Like we have
Triple
one,
down.
we both pick one game each week. We're like, I really believe that this result is going to happen, and
So I'm tripling down on it.
So I'm tripling down on it. If you get it right, then you get then you get +3, and if you get it wrong, then you get -3, like we're doing with the big upset of the week. It's just the problem is, and if you want to make it a big upset, then by all means, that'll be interesting. If you want to call it the big upset of the week, call it that. But not every week we're necessarily going to have that, right? So
I'm down for that.
Let's just call it the triple down.
I'm down for that. I'm down for that. I'm down for that. That makes it more fun for me because the NFL is so diverse right now anyway. All right, let's do it.
Then you could have chosen that game as your triple down because you were thinking about it, and then you're like, no, I'm going to go with the Jaguars.
Yeah, fuck y'all, Jags.
All right, so next, that's all of the games that we mutually got wrong. Then next,
now we roast Thomas.
We already talked about that one. Actually, we're dead even for the rest of the games. The big difference this week is that I got my big upset of the week right, and you got yours wrong. That's why the everything's so different. But other than that, we were only lost by like one game.
Let's tell you how crucial that big upset of the week is.
Oh yeah. All right. So the other obviously you got Giants Jags wrong. We already talked about that. You got the Seahawks and Chargers wrong, which I believe that's another game you were tossing around for your big upset of the week. But either way, you got it wrong. So, I guess it's like it doesn't really matter because like you still got your big upset of the week wrong, but at least you didn't get that wrong twice, I guess. I don't know. But you did get this one. You thought the Chargers were going to win, and they did not. The Seahawks won. And I think the Seahawks might be something to pay attention to right now.
How do we lose to the Chargers, man? Like I'll be looking at some of these games. Like we had so many winnable games, man. Like I was like, how does the Browns they're just not a good team.
You're just now figuring that out.
No, I mean, because like you would think, like in theory it'll work, right? In theory, you have Myles Garrett and Nick Chubb and Clowney and freaking Cooper all on the same team, and then the best offensive line in the league. In theory, you think it will work, right?
Yeah, but if that's all you have as far as like people who are good consistently on a week-to-week basis, then you're going to have some big hole every single week somewhere.
I think the problem is they don't got no veteran leadership.
That could be true. Is Myles Garrett not veteran leadership?
Yeah, he's not leadership.
Well, okay, that's fair.
He's not leadership at all. Shots fired, Myles Garrett. Step up, dude. I'm saying that to you because you know exactly why I'm saying that to you. I don't got to mention it. I like you, Myles, but let's be real, man. Step up, bro. Step the fuck up, bro.
So the other game that you got wrong, the last game that you got wrong, was the one that your friend advised you on the pick, and you got that pick wrong. So your friend advised you to take the Lions over the Cowboys. And the Cowboys didn't just win; they dominated them.
Yeah, man, it was over the Cowboys, man.
The Cowboys are good, dude. Like, the Cowboys' defense is really good, and their offense is like not Dak's back now, so it's just like the offense is not like elite, I don't think, but their offense has a lot of firepower. That's the thing. So I mean, with their defense being as good as it is, it's gonna be hard to do anything against them.
Well, how about them Cowboys?
How about them?
How about them Cowboys?
How about them? All right, so now I got to come clean about my predictions that I got wrong. So Colts Titans. Not Colts Titans. Who was it? Colts Titans is this week.
Yeah.
Titans and Texans.
Okay.
Wait, did I really pick the Texans to win this game? I must have been high. Like
it might have been. You picked the Texans to beat the who?
No, okay. I am on the wrong week. I'm looking at week 8 for some reason. It was Colts Titans. I did not pick the Texans to win that game. It was Colts Titans. I picked the Colts to win this game. I thought that they were kind of on the come up after the last couple of weeks. Their offense was doing better, and then they just fell flat. I don't know what happened, but like the Titans came in. The Titans didn't look all that damn good. but Derrick Henry rushed for 128 yards, and that works out, I guess. And they only scored 19 points, but that was more than enough to beat the Colts. So now Sam Ehlinger is the quarterback in Indy, and I just, man, like, I'm not there yet, but I mean, if they don't win some more games here soon, they're going to be. I'm going to start torpedoing them in my power rankings because it's like if you're benching Matt Ryan for Sam Ehlinger, and they're 500 right now, right? They're 3-3-1. They were over 500 coming into this game. So and now you're benching Sam Ehlinger. When you bench your like starting quarterback like that, you're basically saying our season's over. We might as well start the young kid and see what we have. And you're doing that at 500. So like the Colts might fall completely apart at this point.
So you're saying is I may be upset now I'm a Browns fan, but at least I'm not a Colts fan.
Well, the Colts won a Super Bowl, so I mean, I guess they're.
Well, but at least I have my franchise quarterback. He's just going through stuff right now.
You know what? At least, if you want to look at it from that perspective, you could say at least you're not a Steelers fan.
Yeah, they definitely don't have their franchise quarterback, but they're married to a guy who sucks.
We'll go over that in a second. But the last game that we need to talk about is I thought that the Packers were going to like bounce back a little bit and beat the Commanders, and boy was I wrong. The Packers, Thomas, I don't even view as a playoff team right now anymore. After like beating losing to the Giants, I'm like, yeah, the Giants are like weirdly randomly good this year. Then they lost to the Jets, and I'm like, okay, well, I think the Jets are on the come up, so. You know, I don't think that they're that bad. Now they lost to the Commanders, and I'm like, okay, there's a problem. There is something going wrong. They started out. I was just like, oh, I think the Packers they're definitely like, you know, among the. I had them among the like the top 5 teams at one point, and now I'm just like, it's over. It's like, I mean, like the Packers. Obviously, their season isn't totally over. It's they're 3-4. They can totally bounce back, but not this team is this team that I just saw play against the Commanders, and that's about to play the Buffalo Bills on primetime. That team's not bouncing back.
You know the problem with the Packers, Aaron Rodgers.
He's part of the problem right now for sure.
Yeah, it's crazy is that we can say on this network we don't work for the 4-letter network. We're gonna tell you, we won't be real with you. I love Aaron Rodgers. I think Aaron Rodgers is one of the greatest quarterbacks that we've seen in my lifetime. Aaron Rodgers is up there. But let's be real, man. I mean, like, I don't think Aaron Rodgers is I don't think Aaron Rodgers is a great leader. I think he's a good leader, but I don't think he's a great leader. I don't think
he's a good leader. I think he's like
okay,
I think Aaron Rodgers is like Dan Marino if Dan Marino lucked into a Super Bowl earlier in his career.
Well, there you go.
Like if Dan Marino had won that one Super Bowl, then he'd be Aaron Rodgers. But I don't think Aaron Rodgers is a good leader. I think he's a bad leader. I think he like Dan Marino, I think he's a bad leader. I think that's why the Packers have just never really gotten back since, is because I think Aaron Rodgers is a bad leader. I think he's not particularly friendly or good to his teammates.
That's true.
He's constantly talking out and acting out and stuff like that.
Yeah,
that's mostly been later in his career. But still, I think Aaron Rodgers suffers from Dan Marino syndrome, and he's got this gigantic inflated ego about himself, and he doesn't like think that he needs to he doesn't think he needs to compromise with other people.
Well, you said what you said.
I did say what I said, but it's why like it's why like whenever anybody brings up Dan Marino in the greatest of all time conversation, I just like bust a gut laughing. I'm like, you cannot be serious. Dan Marino, one of the possibly the most talented quarterback of all time, but talent does not make you great. Talent actually, it almost makes it worse that you have all that talent and you just got like such a shitty mindset that you waste all that talent. Like Johnny Manziel got all that.
No, talent. I mean, like I agree with you.
What a waste!
What a fucking waste. Oh, I agree with you, man. That's very frustrating me because he has so much. Johnny Manziel had a lot of talent. He could have been a lot better than what he was.
He really
Could have. That's his own study habits, but I think we're seeing the worst Aaron Rodgers. He'll bounce. I think he'll bounce back eventually. I think he got a couple seasons left in him, but this is.
I mean, he might come back and he might play well. I'm not saying he's done. What I'm saying is he's definitely never winning another Super Bowl, and I think there's a reason why he won one early in his career. Like Dan Marino went to a Super Bowl early in his career, and it's like if the Dolphins could have won that Super Bowl, it'd be the exact same career trajectory as Aaron Rodgers. It'd be like point for point, because like this dude just can't get out of his own head, you know? Like he can't get out of his own way or his own players' ways or whatever. But you know, that's really neither here nor there. We need to go ahead and move on to the state of the AFC North because we're almost at an hour at this point. So just a couple of things I want to point out about the other AFC North teams. The Steelers are back to losing and looking absolutely pathetic again. And I know the Dolphins' defense is good, but only scoring 10 points when the defense did a decent job of holding the Dolphins down, that's rough. Kenny Pickett threw 3 picks and only 1 touchdown this week. I'm gonna start calling him Kenny Pick Six because that's who he is.
I've been saying from the beginning, I've been saying for like the last couple of weeks, it's bad quarterback to all my friends at work. Like, nah, he'll catch up. You're just saying that because you're a Browns fan. Like, no, he sucks, man. He sucks. It's hilarious.
He's the reincarnation of Bubby Brister.
You know, they say on the radio, they say he's Brandon Wheaton. He's Brandon Wheaton. He's Brandon Wheaton. You're trying to defend him. You're trying to defend him. Like, nah, see, like he knows shit, so he'll get better. No, he ain't gonna get better. He sucks.
And all the Steelers fans are trying to defend him by like, oh, he's throwing a lot of picks, but a lot of these picks aren't. I mean, he's not 30. It's like, okay, first of all, a lot of the picks are his fault. Second of all, the picks that aren't his fault, it's just like it's bad communication with your wide receivers. It's like lack of chemistry. It's lack of a lot of different things. And whether or not that's Kenny Pickett's fault, I don't know. But it's definitely like bad quarterbacking. And it might be the fault of Mike Tomlin for just really not committing to him all that much. And like, I don't know. Like, and the thing is, I get it from Tomlin. I do. I get it because like clearly, I think Kenny Pickett has talent in some areas, but for real, yikes, what we're seeing right now. The sad part is I really think that Mitch Trubisky might be the better short-term option, and hot take, might be a better long-term option at quarterback, considering he was a former number 2 overall pick. Like, Mitch Trubisky's got talent too. Mitch Trubisky's fairly young too. You know, like, he's not necessarily a great option, but might be better than Kenny Pickett short and long term. So
I agree.
I'm just like, it's just like, are the Steelers going to let Kenny Pickett develop? But even if they do, is that a mistake?
It's a mistake, but let's not make the mistake because it's funny watching him do it.
Oh, it's great. I love it.
Being a Browns fan, I know a bad quarterback wants to see one. That's a bad quarterback.
So the Ravens are still blowing leads, I see.
Yeah, they are.
Probably would have lost this game if they
played anybody else but the Browns.
If the Browns had just not repeatedly shot themselves in the foot over and over again, like this is not sustainable for the Ravens. Like, they're 4-3 right now, so they have a winning record technically. But I think like Thomas, I know you. I don't know if you want to like necessarily harp on this too much because they just beat your team and whatever. But at the same time, this is the Ravens are clearly not a good football team. The fact that they have 4 wins is kind of mind-boggling because they're just not good.
Kyle, but the biggest thing about all of this, Kyle, the biggest thing about all of this is something that we just got to do this. But like, I just keep on asking this. When are we going to have the Lamar Jackson conversation?
We keep having it. What are you talking about?
No, we're having it now. I'm just saying it now because I've been saying it for the last 2.5 years.
Yeah, okay.
But now it's fucking funny because, like, Now I'm hearing everybody say it. I've been saying this for the last 3 years. I've been saying this for 3 years, Kyle, and I've been getting ripped to shreds by it. But I just want to let all of y'all know I've been saying it first. Lamar Jackson cannot pass the ball, at least consistently. Not like you want a quarterback to throw.
He can throw really well sometimes, but the problem is sometimes isn't enough.
He throws it when. Nah, right.
Did you hear that Deshaun Jackson joined the Ravens?
Yeah, I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, that's weird. Apparently that happened before the Browns game. He just didn't play in the Browns game, which I mean makes sense. Like he's probably not. They got to get him ready to go first.
Yeah,
it makes sense because the Ravens are low on wide receiver talent. Rashad Bateman's dealing with a foot injury, but I just find it interesting. The Ravens are trying to do because the Ravens I think know the Ravens. I think know that they're not good because I think I've seen a lot of Ravens fans. Like Ravens have a winning record; they're atop the AFC North, and I'm still seeing people call for John Harbaugh to be fired. So I think the Ravens know that they're not good. I think the Ravens know that them being in first place right now is not sustainable. And now that the Bengals have woken up, I think they're like, oh crap,
They'll beat us.
Do what?
I think they barely beat us. I think they're ready to have the Lamar Jackson. I almost called him Deshaun Jackson. I think they're ready to have the Lamar Jackson conversation.
Well, I almost called him Deshaun Watson earlier, so.
I just think that I don't know. I just don't think Lamar Jackson's getting his money, at least not from the Ravens. I wouldn't give him his money. I hope he does.
I wouldn't.
Because the thing is, though, Lamar Jackson's getting worse every single year.
Yeah, he has.
And he's on a downward trajectory, but he runs fast, so he's awesome. Lamar runs fast.
The only team in the NFL right now that I think could successfully revive Lamar Jackson, he could go to a lot of other teams and he could be a decent good quarterback for a little while, kind of like Michael Vick was after he came back.
Yeah,
I think it could happen. The only team I think Lamar Jackson could go to right now, and it would really it would be a great move for him, would be New York, like the Giants, because they already have their offense built around a quarterback who's not really the best at throwing the ball, has a fumbling problem, and is also weirdly good at running the ball. So what I'm saying is Lamar Jackson is Daniel Jones. And you suck, Daniel Jones.
You suck, Daniel Jones. And Carson Wentz, trash-ass quarterback in the NFC East.
Carson Wentz is he got hurt, but he's benched right now. I mean, I think it's because he's hurt, but Taylor Heineke's starting.
I know he was benched. I want to keep him on my bit. Come on, Carson Wentz, come on, man, come on, get back on your feet, man. We'll keep this going.
Look, he hurt his thumb, I think.
Welcome to the battle.
I did what with it? What? Why?
That was perfect. I was like, oh, yeah, the episode like that. I was like, all right, that's perfect. That's actually a perfect way to end the episode.
Well, I mean, it does kind of work out because
I called Carson with a bitch and the episode ended. That was good.
It does kind of work out because that's pretty much all we've got for this episode. I unless you got anything else that you want to say.
No, I'm gonna look out, man.
Okay. Right. Well, that's pretty much all I've got. So, we were a little late this week. We got in on a Wednesday rather than a Monday, but we're here anyway. And the next one's going to be on Friday. We're going to be previewing the games on Friday this week because obviously we're not going to do it tonight. That'd be weird. But that's pretty much all we've got, guys. So thank you so much for watching. You can always find more of what I do at Kyle Phelps 92 on Twitter, Facebook.com/The Phelps, the Battle of Ohio podcast, which is this, and then my YouTube channel, which is Welcome to the Jungle with Kyle Phelps, but the channel itself is just called Kyle Phelps. ATBnetwork.com. I don't want to I've got them in the little scroll bar here at the bottom, but shout out to them for letting us use the StreamYard and everything like that.
Good people.
They help me do my streams on the games and helping us do this podcast because honestly, before ATB Network, we were using Zoom and the quality on that was terrible. horrible.
Just
and
horrible.
It was awful. It really sucked having guests on because you had like a time limit, and if you didn't hit the time limit, then you had to if you went over the time limit, then you basically had to restart a whole new session of Zoom, and then you had to get everybody back in the thing and be like, I'm sorry, they have a time limit, and we, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then you had to go back and post and edit it all together. And also there was no way of live streaming from Zoom. I mean, I guess you could, but it was this really complicated process. But now that we've got access to StreamYard, things have been so much smoother for us. So, I mean, like I said, once again, thank you to ATB Network for giving us this opportunity. Shout out to them. Go check them out at atbnetwork.com.
We did upgrade in life. We're upgrading in life.
We did. But like I said, that's all I got for this one, guys. So I'll leave y'all, as always, with a hooday.
Go Browns.